about a big debate on tax reform happening at the end of this year, the beginning of next year. And I think we hope that as part of that debate on tax reform, we could include a push to increase the flex savings account maximum for families. As we talk about making our tax code fair, the focus should be on families like Richard's. Families that are doing everything that we ask them to do and are just trying to get a fair shake and a good education and childcare experience for their kids. So I'll admit that the chances are not great that this bill is going to pass between now and the end of the year, but by introducing it now, along with this very revealing survey, we've hopefully got some momentum to make it part of the conversation when we discuss tax reform later this year or the beginning of next year.
I think there's been a very realistic approach to this, and Congressman Murphy said this, that within the next year, this gives us an opportunity to build the support for this effort. And quite frankly, middle-class families and working families across the country are struggling. This is not a political issue. This is not a party issue. It's about the economic well-being of the families in this nation. And we also hope to engage our colleagues on both sides of the aisle in the necessity of this being critical for people to, one, to get their kids educated and for them to be working. So it makes a lot of sense.
What would the cost of the proposal be?
Sure. So, we're going to have we'll have to get a budget score on it, so we don't have a budget score yet. As I look at a larger conversation about tax reform, I've, as Rosa has been an opponent of reauthorizing the Bush tax cuts for the wealthiest 1%. And I think it makes sense to reorient some of the tax cuts that we've given the very wealthy and put them in the hands of middle-class taxpayers. And so I think a very simple way to help pay for this is to take some of the tax breaks on capital gains or dividends that have been passed along to people who've done very, very well over the last 20 years and allow for middle-class families to recoup some of their losses that they have seen in this economy over the same period of time. So, one of the things, though, that these budget scores don't encapsulate is the savings that come to the economy by allowing families to pay for quality child care. When families are able to afford child care, then their family members can go out and enter the workforce and be productive, adding income to their family, but also adding tax revenue to the federal government. When we are able to provide quality child care like you are here today, we're saving our educational system money down the line by having literacy occurring in classrooms of 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. You're saving very expensive interventions in our public school systems later on. And so one of the things that budget scores don't do a great job of doing is trying to anticipate the fairly significant savings that come to an economy and our educational system by making sure that we have quality early childhood education.
Can I give you just one anecdote with regard to reforming the tax code? And this is not meant to be humorous, but one of the pieces in the tax code today is if you are a horse breeder and you sell a horse. Now, there are in Kentucky, not just recently, there was a horse sold for $8.5 million. That horse owner was able to deduct $8.5 million from their tax obligation. I would think we would be able to reform some effort in that way and make sure that middle-class families, working families, can have a safe venue for their children where they're learning, where they're growing, where they're being nurtured so that they can succeed rather than someone who probably is already a millionaire getting $8.5 million as a tax cut. That's in the tax code right now. We should be done with that.